Hello, beautiful people. My name is Lou. I'm a somatic coach for trauma transformation and emotional well-being. And today I want to share my favorite exercise with you, which is toning the vagus nerve and at the same time activating the pineal gland if we practice regularly. And we're going to practice a simplified version of the Bhramari Pranayama, which is the bumblebee sound. And even though it's a simplified version, it is very effective and powerful. So what it does on a bodily level, it helps us to release pains, especially headaches, and it activates the glands, also the pineal gland. And we need that gland in order to be balanced in serotonin and melatonin. So if you have difficulties, for example, with insomnia, that breathing can be extremely beneficial for you. And the pineal gland is also altering our intuition. So if you want to get in touch with your inner wisdom that is in each and every one of us, practicing this breathing exercise for at least 2 or better 4 weeks actually on a daily basis, 3 times a day, then you'll most likely feel a change in how you feel emotionally and mentally, because it also helps you to train your memory and your concentration by integrating that exercise into your daily routine. And also through this kind of breathing that we're doing here, we release nitric oxide in the body, which usually is a toxin, but in this case, in the body, it's really good, and it helps us, for example, to take in more oxygen, which we need in order to feel more vitality, in order for our immune system to work properly. All the hormonal function will work much better if we are flushed with oxygen in the body. And also it helps us to dilate the blood vessels. So if you have problems with high blood pressure, practicing Bhramari Pranayama regularly will also help you to lower that. And on a mental level, we calm down. We really can center ourselves and get regulated. If you have anxiety, for example, or if you're facing a lot of anger outbreaks, then this exercise can be very beneficial for you. Also, if you're stressed in general, to just bring yourself back to center. And of course, it's like always, it's not a quick fix, it's not working overnight like a miracle. You will have to put some effort into it. So if you're eager to see what this exercise does to you, really commit to at least 2 weeks and practicing at least 3 times a day, 5 to 10 minutes each time. And very often in the beginning we're excited, we do it for 3 days, and then we stop and it didn't really work. So really make a strong determination to do that for at least 2 weeks, and then you can see whether or not you feel any change. Okay, before I'm going to explain how we're going to practice, just a few words on contraindications. If you have problems with your heart, then please first contact your healthcare provider and see if this exercise is good for you or not. And if you have any infections right now or pains in your ears, please also refrain from practicing, wait until it's cured, and then you can go ahead. And if you're dealing with depression, this exercise may or may not be good for you. It can trigger deep states of bliss and happiness, which is great, whether we are depressed or not. But also for depressed people, it can trigger that depression sometimes, because we really go inwards a lot. And if you feel like practicing and see how it is for you, if you're dealing with depression, choose the first variation, where you don't close your ears or eyes while we are breathing with a humming sound. Okay, now I'm explaining to you how we're going to practice. So there are a couple of variations. The first one would be to just bring your index finger and thumbs together and put them on your knees, and you're going to breathe like that. We are always breathing in and out through the nose, and always are using the deep belly breathing, which also activates the parasympathetic state. And another variation would be to just close your ears and then do the humming sound as we exhale. And a third variation would be to close your eyes, slightly putting some pressure on your eyeballs, which also activates the vagus nerve, and at the same time closing your ears. So it looks like that. And if you want to increase the effects of that breathing even more, you can bring your tongue to the top of your palate, and then you will activate the glands even more. You create another vibration in your head by doing that. Okay, so choose your variation. You can make yourself comfortable and sit either on a cushion or on a chair. You balance your sit bones equally, and as you inhale, you straighten up vertebra by vertebra. Exhaling, you release your shoulders, relax. Your heart is wide and open. Your chin is slightly tucked in. And you're engaging the diaphragm, so you're breathing deeply into the abdomen and the lower ribs. Exhaling very slowly. And now you choose your variation for the exercise and you bring your tongue to your palate. You breathe in deeply into your abdomen and then you start to hum as you exhale. The exhalation should always be longer than the inhalation. And you practice in your own individual rhythm. And now you come to an end. You stop the humming and you start to observe your body, the sensations, and your emotional state. You just observe with presence and loving kindness. And now you gently come back. You can open your eyes, or if you want to sit in silence, then please pause the video and keep enjoying the state that you are in. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the breathing. If not, that's totally fine too. Then you can find something else that brings you back into balance and that helps you to regulate yourself. There are millions of techniques out there. Choose the one that suits you. And if you liked it and you're going to commit to a practice for a while, then I'm curious to hear from you how you're doing after a couple of weeks. And if you feel like diving deeper into a transformational journey to heal from trauma and unresolved emotions, then feel free to check out my website. It's written down there in the info box. I wish you a beautiful day, a lot of peace in your heart and mind. Namaste.